Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Challenge Chats. We're back with you today, me and my wonderful co-host, Mel. How are you feeling today, Mel?
Good. So far, so good.
As always. So today we have a really fun episode ahead for you guys. First, we always want to go over some really fun announcements for the Challenge program. First and foremost, for all you students out there, our Student of the Year competition will already be open when you're listening to this episode. It's opening September 7th and it's running through to March 1st. So make sure to enter for that. You get a huge, wonderful prize of $1,500, which is amazing. And there's lots of other cute little perks and interactions that you get to have with us when you win that competition. Do you have any extra snippets on that, Mel?
I think that everybody listening should definitely enter. It's actually really simple. It's about 5 questions, and they're all questions about yourself, so that makes it super easy. You'd pretty much just go onto our website, tell us about how the program has made an impact on you, and just hit the enter button, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, so it's very simple, and there's no point in at least not trying. So that's really exciting. So we want to make sure that all of you enter for that because that will be really awesome. And then second, we've already started our school assemblies as well. This episode is coming out just a little bit past all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's just great. So we're going to be starting school assemblies. We'll probably be coming out to a lot of your schools, which is unbelievably exciting. And we're super excited to meet all of you and do all those fun assembly things. But that's really all that's really big on the board for this week. So we're super excited to keep you guys up to date and for a new episode. Now for our big interview, we have on Bobby Fetter will be the person that we're interviewing this round. He's super exciting. He's our award recipient for the 2022 Commitment to Community Service Award. He's really nice, great interviewer. We talk a lot in his regards to his future in community service with his nonprofit, about his future, and just getting a lot of his takes on how it's been to win that award, what it did for him, and what his plans are for the future. Me and Mel actually did this interview together, which was super exciting. So Mel can give some more snippets to how the interview went. So Mel, how did you feel about that interview with him?
Yeah, I think the interview's definitely worth a listen. Bobby is just so charismatic and easy to listen to. He just has one of those personalities that I can't imagine anybody not liking. And I think his story is really impactful. He has a really powerful story and message and some really great advice for students or just people in general, honestly, about kind of finding your way and knowing that there's maybe more out there in the world that you always thought. So, yeah, really motivational.
Yes, it's very exciting. So, pre-roll Bryce and Mel are probably all done with you. We're going to flash over to the interview, and we hope you all enjoy, and we'll see you post-interview. And we're here. Hey, Mel.
Hey.
Today, me and Mel are going to be doing the interview, which is super exciting. And today we're with
Bobby Fetter.
And we're really excited to have him.
Yeah, Bobby was our Commitment to Community Service recipient last year. And he's really great. He has a really cool story. He's had some challenges of his own to overcome, so we're excited to have him here today. And I think you guys will enjoy his story.
Yeah, and he took a long drive to see us, which we're very appreciative for.
Yes, for sure. So, Bobby, why don't you tell us a little bit about your community service project that kind of got you this award?
Yeah, absolutely. So at my school, I go to Greater Latrobe High School, which is in Western Pennsylvania. And so what I did was I collected youth sports equipment from the community to kind of, just gather stuff that maybe other kids could use because, equipment right now is so expensive, and especially coming out of that pandemic, it's so hard for kids to meet new friends and enjoy things, and I felt like this would be a great way to give back to the community that gave me a great chance to enjoy my childhood and, enjoy sports. So we gathered all of this equipment from the community and we put on display at the high school, and we allowed kids and their families to come and kind of shop around. It was all free, and I felt like that was a big selling point for a lot of people. Like, hey, somebody that is an athlete at our school is giving us like equipment. So, we had a great turnout, and it was awesome seeing like how receptive people were to the idea.
Yeah, that is so awesome, and I think that is a big thing right now. Is sometimes
yeah.
it is really hard for some families to find that kind of equipment right now because they're just dealing with recovering from the pandemic and doing all kinds of stuff like that. It's not easy.
Oh no, especially like hockey. I know hockey is one of the most expensive sports out there, so it'd be a shame if a kid couldn't play and maybe they're meant to become, an NHL star, but they never get to because, it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
So that's really great. And what was the name of it?
So the initial name was Cat's Pride, and like that name kind of came about where our school, we were the Wildcats, and then we felt like pride, that's like family. So we felt like making that community feel more like a family, where it's not just, all right, these are the athletes and this is everybody else. We wanted everybody to kind of be woven together, and I felt like it was a good way, especially like you guys said, coming out of that pandemic where like socially I felt like things were just strained because nobody saw anybody for a while.
Sure.
So with the event, you had families with kids from all different ages, with high school kids and adults. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that's like a very big that's a huge element, is like social with sports and everything like that. Because that's a huge thing that sports helps with, is a lot of social interaction, even letting people get involved with the community and stuff like that.
How hard would you say it was to get the initiative started?
It was very hard, especially because it was a new idea of something. It's a simple concept, but to get the pieces in place to kind of set it in motion was very, very tough. But looking back, it's all worth it. When you put all that work into something, you can kind of see it come to fruition. It's very rewarding.
Yeah, and I'm sure through evolving and doing it, I'm sure you did struggle sometimes just looking at it and being like, am I really sure I want to follow through with this?
Yeah. I mean, getting volunteers is always really tough because it was unknown, where you're asking people to give up their time, not for money.
Yeah.
And, we had like a bunch of my friends helped out, which was awesome. And we had really good help with like the press and getting stuff out on social media, kind of just letting people know what we're doing, why we're doing it. And, I can't thank Latrobe enough for all the help they gave me. So it allowed us to kind of keep moving it forward.
And that's awesome that your school would support you so much in doing an initiative like that. I know that helps a lot, especially when you're younger, because you really don't have like, you don't have all the resources in the world. So having some support like that is super helpful.
Yeah, I mean, starting something like that, you almost have to gamble a little bit. You're going to put all of your energy into something where you're hoping it works out. Yep. And something that my parents told me was, it doesn't matter if you only help one person. You're doing the right thing. You're trying to help people. So if it's 1 or 20 people, it's worth it.
Yeah, and I don't think that we don't have any initiatives really like that existed before that, especially.
Yeah, I think it's really unique, and I think that's why we put this community service competition out in honor of John Weinstein, because of his efforts giving back to the community. And we put it out last year. It was new, and we opened it up to all of our schools, so almost 140 schools. And yours obviously stuck out.
There were times where I was like, man, I feel like I should just wrap it up. And I don't know if it's going to keep going, but my parents always made sure that I kept going, because sometimes you need that person to kind of push you a little bit whenever you feel like you're going to give up.
That's a big thing with the challenge program too, because the challenge program was started with a single wing and just faith that it would hopefully work out.
Yeah.
I think it's important for other people to hear, especially younger, teens, students, young adults, to hear that you might see like photos you post and stuff of your organization being really great, and thinking, wow, like, I can't believe he didn't even like struggle. He doesn't look like he had to struggle ever, but you did. And everybody, you can't tell from like the really cool pictures on Instagram. Like, of course, everybody only posts the best parts. They don't post like, I'm really struggling today to get this off the ground.
Yeah.
What would you say the biggest challenge you faced with the organization was?
Something that we touched on earlier was the fact of it being just really unique, and especially with me collecting sports equipment, I feel like people were hesitant,
Yeah.
with the cleanliness of everything.
Of
So I had to
course.
make sure I cleaned everything, and again, getting volunteers. But I think overall, it was just having faith that people would come and get the stuff. I set everything up at the high school, and I sat down and
Yeah.
I was thinking, hopefully one person walks in, because it
Yeah.
would really stink if I set all this up and no one came in.
Yeah.
But as families walked in and you're socializing, because it's not really like a business thing. It's more of, you get to know the families. You might play catch with the kids, where when I was that age, kids in high school were awesome. You look
Right.
up and you're like, wow, I went to their games when I was in second grade. So I was hoping to kind of be like that leader, role model for them, where they can kind of take my place. Once
Yeah.
I'm gone, they can be that role model for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that, honestly, but that was probably a huge struggle, was making sure like everything was very cleanly, everything was very organized, because especially at the time, everybody on the forefront of their mind were thinking about how sanitary and everything was the whole time, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That
but
is a
it
huge-
worked out well. I mean, like the first event that you had, how many people do you think showed up?
We probably had upwards of 100 people that
Oh,
came.
no. And you were thinking, I hope one comes. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And something that my mom actually helped me come up with, like the night before it all started, was we had $2,500 that was donated to us, and we weren't taking monetary donations.
Right.
But two people, it was Dick's Sporting Goods gave us $1,000, and then we got an anonymous grant of $1,500, where we haven't ever seen that type of money.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we were thinking, what's the best way to use this money where the people that donated it will feel like it was used the right way? So my mom came up with this idea to do like a letter competition, where they wrote to us like, hey, this is who I am. This is the equipment that I would really want. This is what I would use it for. This is why I want it. And, only 5 people wrote. So it was
Okay.
actually really easy, because we didn't have to pick winners. We just took those
nice.
5, and we took them on a shopping spree to Dick's Sporting Goods, and we just
Oh, that's such a good idea.
it was really cool. I felt like the parents were just as excited as the kids to kind of be
Yeah.
there. But it was super cool, and hopefully it's not the last time we do it.
Yeah, and that's a funny thing for everybody to think about. Is like sometimes even if some people write into competitions and just think, well, there's no way I would
Yeah.
win, so why am I even writing? But sometimes you have competitions like that where they have like a top 5 and only 6
Yeah.
people write or something, so you have a better chance just writing and hoping than you
Yeah.
do just
Yeah.
not writing at all.
I mean, somebody has to get picked.
Yes.
And it could be you.
Yeah.
So, for sure.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
What do you see as the future for your project, since you graduated and everything? You're kind of moving on.
I mean, at this point, we want to just reach for the stars with it. We've gotten to make some pretty cool connections with people
Yeah.
over the last year, and really after the challenge program event this past April, we got a ton of exposure, where people were like, "Hey, we saw what happened in Pittsburgh, and we saw your post.
Yeah.
It was awesome. We'd love to work with you." Where we're networking, so now it's not just going to be a small thing in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, where hopefully, this past summer it was a county-wide event,
Yeah.
where maybe we could start getting more of a state level.
Yeah, maybe someday you'll have your own organization. You can get it trademarked and stuff. Like, you never know. That would be a really cool thing.
Yeah. And then I did hear you mention, you said the original name for it was Cat's Pride. Did you guys have any ideas for any new names, or is that just...
So right now, we changed it to Athletes for Change, and we
I
changed
like
it to that because we wanted it to be more accepting of like the other schools. We didn't want to ask like neighboring
Sure.
schools to just
Make
be
it
under.
more broad.
Yeah. So we felt like Athletes for Change would be really a good name for it. Just, that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do. We're trying to be athletes that are making a change in the community, where you're not one-dimensional. You're not just somebody who
Yeah.
plays sports. You're somebody who, if people see you at the store, they can say hi to you,
Right.
and they can socialize and everything.
Yeah, I like that name a lot. I think it also gives a lot of context. Like, I could just by hearing the name of that organization, I could guess it has something to do with sports and,
Yes.
you know, helping kids with sports
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, I really like that name. That is awesome. I'm sure it
Thank
took you guys a while to want to reorient that because you never want to escape from the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
The amount of like boards we had at school where it was a whiteboard where we just wrote down names.
Oh,
You know, some
yeah.
of them were pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But you know, you have to kind of cut it down. We
Yeah.
probably had like 50 names picked out, and you just have to keep narrowing it down. And then we landed on that one, and we felt confident that, you know,
Yeah.
for now at least, that could be a good idea.
Yeah, you always have to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
when we did the same thing for our fall assembly theme, we just start writing words down that, you know, we like and then crossing some out.
Yeah.
Like, that one's so dumb. I can't believe we even thought that. But you have to start, you know, somewhere. So.
And even heck for our podcast, whenever we
Oh,
originally were
yeah.
coming up for podcast names, I can't tell you how many emails we sent out, a company wide, just rethinking it 20 friggin' times, and then we finally
Yeah.
like pinned one down, and then we still changed it one more time.
Yeah. And you always want it to be great. Like, if you're
Yeah.
passionate about something, you're like, I want it to fit, like, perfectly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I want it to be right in the middle.
so now that we know about your organization and everything, I'd like you to just maybe talk about a personal challenge that you faced that you had to overcome.
So, wow. I've had quite the journey with sports, which kind of led me into wanting to do the initiative. So, I've always played 3 sports. I played baseball, basketball, and football like my entire life. And if you ask anybody that knows me, they know I'm always just talking about sports all the time. But I felt like I kind of started to lose sight a little bit, where I almost got a little bit too obsessed with sports, where, you know, maybe I wasn't being the best brother I could be. Maybe I wasn't being the best son, best friend, stuff like that. You know, academics, I felt like started to slip a little bit. So my 10th grade year, I actually had 3 shoulder dislocations,
Wow.
1 in football and then 2 in basketball, which actually sidelined me from basketball forever. But after the 3rd one, I had to get a surgery, and that day was when everybody got sent home because of COVID. So, you know, I wake up and
Wow.
it felt like it was unreal. You know, my parents were saying, yeah, the twins and Tyler got sent home, and my older sister Sarah was a senior at the time, so, you know, her future was up in the air.
Sure.
And, you know, it left me with time to just think. You know, I'd been going at such a breakneck speed for so long that I almost forgot who I even was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, over the summer and like the next few months, I was able to kind of just think a little bit, you know, all the things that I enjoy doing, and I almost kind of lost sight why I was playing sports.
Yeah.
So as I was rehabbing, I felt like I was also rehabbing my soul a little bit, you know, and that my junior year, I kind of came up with the idea with a few of my teammates to collect the sports equipment, because I was like, there's almost like a romance to sports where it's not even somebody has to go to college to play.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the people I know were just from playing sports. Some of them don't play anymore. They haven't played in years, but it's something that you meet people, you meet great like coaches, adults, teachers, stuff like that, where you can't replace that in
Yeah.
lives. So especially with these kids in an age where they missed 2 years of sports, you know, if I could help out at all or kind of lift them up a little bit, that would be awesome. So, you know, the biggest struggle for me was definitely my injuries, but then also realizing, you know, maybe my body is like physically broken a little bit, but I felt like my soul was a little bit broken.
Yeah.
So that's when you have to lean on other people. You can't just deal with it by yourself.
Yeah.
And that was something really hard to realize. You know, I had to talk to my family a lot, which a lot of people my age don't like to do. No one
Right.
wants to be, hey, Dad, like, this is what's going on. They just
Yeah.
want to deal with it themselves, you know? So, like, my family, my religion and everything was really instrumental in kind of overcoming everything. But, you know, when bad things happen, you almost have to take the step back and realize, okay, there's a reason this happened. I have to make a positive out of it.
Real quick, I think we're going to take a quick intermission. Whenever we get back, we're going to explore some more personal questions and poke your brain a little bit more.
All right.
We're going to take a little coffee break. We'll be right back. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we're back. And so now we're going to get a little personal. So we want to explore, what do you think your big next steps are going to be now that you're going off to college? What are you looking at in that direction? And what do you think your big next steps in life are going to be?
So right now the plan is to definitely go into teaching. I felt like career-wise that was something that really spoke to me. I want to be able to make a difference with kids going through middle school, high school, because I feel like that's just such a important age. It's not that one age isn't important, but I feel like that is just such a crucial age for people to kind of figure out their future. Because if you say something to someone in 8th grade like, hey, this is something that could give you an opportunity for a career, they're going to look at you like you have 10 eyes.
Yeah.
And I feel like you need to have the right educators in place to really help people realize their own potential. That's why, like, the 2 educators I brought with me to the event in April, I mean, it was a no-doubter who I was bringing. Those guys did such a great job for me. One was a 7th grade teacher for me, and then the other one was 11th grade. So those are 2 totally different age groups, but they both did such a great job. And I mean, in terms of the next step with like the initiative, I'd love to make it grow while I'm at Penn State. I'd love to just keep growing, because I think the more people you help, the better it is. And I think the more people that see what I'm doing, they're going to want to help out.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to think about. I think it has like really high potential. You just have to put the work in.
Oh, absolutely. And I know teachers are so important. We know that above anything else. Gosh, I've had so many great teachers in college, high school, everything. You're definitely like looking at the right thing there, because it's very formative. Those first like early years of high school, late middle school, all those years can be so formative for a lot of people.
It's where you're really finding yourself, I think, for the first time, like figuring out what you like and what you don't like and who you want to be, kind of stuff. But I can see you being a great teacher. You have the leadership skills for sure.
I appreciate that.
And that's your dad does that as well, right?
Yeah. Right now he's a principal at Guyville Catholic, and he loves it there, and he really liked teaching. He taught English for 8 years, and I really want to follow that same exact path where you can be a leader in different positions. He has students still coming up to him, like asking for advice and stuff that, he hasn't seen in 5 years. And me being his son, seeing that is something I want to be. That's like something inspiring for me. And something else that I almost forgot to mention earlier is I'd love to coach.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I was just going to ask that if you weren't going to mention it, because I thought that was definitely something that I thought you should think of.
Which sport?
I don't even know. I mean, I could see myself coaching any of the 3. I guess my dream is to definitely coach football at some point with my dad.
Yeah.
I think that would be something that would be a bucket list item, but I feel like I have all the different perspectives that would be good for players to have. Like, I was somebody for football, I played quarterback, so I was used to having the pressure on me, but I was also somebody who got hurt who was sidelined, so I know what it's like to not be on the field as well. And it was really the same way for the other 2 sports, where I had time that I was in the spotlight, and then I had other times where I had to be on the sideline, where I'm going to be able to, I don't know, help players achieve the most success that they can.
Right, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So cool. I think you'd be great at both of those things.
And I think you have a unique perspective where you weren't a perfect athlete all of your career, because you went through all those struggles and you had difficulties like that. And so I think that's a very unique perspective for like all the kids that are in those athletics and doing that kind of stuff, and being able to give them insight into being like, hey, don't forget to balance your life, don't forget to balance your classes. That could be very important for some kids, because some kids end up in positions like where you felt like you were, where they start to absorb them a little bit too much, and they do need help stepping back a little bit.
And how do you feel like the challenge program, after getting involved with them and getting the recognition from us and winning that award, how much money did you end up winning?
So I got $1,000 from the challenge program, which that makes quite the dent with college.
Yeah, of course. So how do you feel like the challenge program made an impact on you or helped you in like the biggest way?
Really, the $1,000 prize was fantastic, but even if I didn't get that, I felt like it was still very worth it. As somebody who was almost like searching for their own way after all the injuries, it was almost validating to kind of see, okay, I have a lot more to offer than just sports or just coaching. You know, I was starting to find my way where I was able to help other people. So getting exposure and compliments and everything that night, it was. You know, sometimes I don't even know what to say. People are so nice, and all I can do is just like smile and say thank you, or I'll like give them a hug or something. But you know, that's something that is mind-boggling to me sometimes.
Why don't you talk a little bit about, so the event you got to attend was the Crystal Owl Gala, which is our big fundraising event where we name the student of the year, but we also recognize our commitment to community service recipient. So why don't you talk about that experience a little bit?
Yeah, so we had a limo that transported us from the high school to the gala, and it was wow. The whole time I saw it like roll up to the school, and my jaw just dropped, you know. And everybody at my school was kind of looking out the window, kind of thinking, "What's going on out there?"
Yeah.
But wow, I was just in awe. And then you know you get to the gala, you walk in, and there's just giant chandeliers everywhere.
How do you feel like other students can utilize this challenge program now that you know more about it?
So I think while I went through everything, I was really putting stuff on Instagram and Snapchat for people to kind of see what it was all about, because I think that's really something important that not a lot of people think about. Is a lot of people don't want to do something they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, really until this past year, I didn't know much about the challenge program. One of my advisors at school brought it up. They were like, "Hey, you know, with you doing this initiative, we feel like this would be a great opportunity for you to kind of share your story." And I immediately filled out the application, and I read like the stuff on the site, and I was like, "Wow, this is really, really cool." I had no idea that this was a thing that was like so close to home.
Right.
So I think people seeing the videos of the contestants for Student of the Year, the video for me with the community service, they're going to see how special it is to really strive for success and get recognized for it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think especially kids at my school want to kind of reach for the stars to do their very best. So seeing the challenge program really helping kids to achieve greatness, people are going to want to do that,
and rewarding them with cash.
Yeah, I mean, money is always going to be something that attracts people for sure.
Of course,
Yes. I think that's a huge thing, as we're continuing to try to work with schools and everything more to make all the students aware of all the different programs we have and all the different opportunities to win some of our award categories and everything like that. Because it is a huge thing. I know that we're slowly getting into more and more minds, but there's still some kids out there that, you know, need to learn more about the challenge program.
Yeah.
So like through everything that you've done this nonprofit, you've gone through a lot of school, now you're getting ready and excited for going to college. In all of that, one of the most helpful things is always good pieces of advice that carry you through. So through all of that, have you received any advice that you've really taken and ran with?
Yeah, you know, this might come to a surprise, but I feel like parents give the best advice all the time. But, you know, something that my parents have told me for a while now, I feel like it's been ever since I started my senior year of high school, is you know who you are, and you need to make sure you always stay true to what you believe in, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for having your mind and your heart in something, you know, where... you know, sometimes you're going to be faced with difficult decisions, but you always have to make sure you're thinking through everything. But it's not just you. You know, you're never really alone. You always have people that love you and care about you.
Yeah.
It's really important to rely on those people. So I think with me having my older sister at college with me, it would be a little bit easier for me. I have good friends that are going there, but, you know, I always have two loving parents that are always willing to FaceTime. So
That's so great to have that support system. And for, you know, some students who don't have that, that's what like the challenge program strives to be, is that support system. Like, we want to be your mentor. We set you up with a local business to try to get you good advice, and just to know that somebody's in your corner, like, we believe in you, we know you can do it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's a hard thing. It is, because you always want to hold true to yourself, but you never want to be hard-headed.
Yeah.
So it's such a hard balance, always trying to be true to like your own values, but making sure that you're always learning, because there's always so much to learn in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would your best piece of advice to other people, students, young adults, be on how they can overcome a challenge that they're facing right now if they feel like they can't get through it?
So the best piece of advice I can give is something that someone really important to me gave to me. So it was a priest at my church. It was like, I think it was going into my senior year. He was somebody that was really close with my family my entire life, and somebody we really enjoyed talking to. He actually got moved from our church, and he had to leave. So everybody was really upset, and he had a really emotional last time being there. And what he said to me was, listen, sometimes things happen and you don't understand why. Negative things that can happen to you, and you're wondering, man, I've done everything right, why would this happen to me? And he said, but then you have to take that step back and change your perspective and think, okay, this happened, now what can I do to make this into a positive?
Right.
And that was something, it was really tough to hear at the time, but it's just stuck with me ever since, where my senior year I dislocated my shoulder again. That kind of took away any shot of continuing my athletic career. And then the next day I woke up and I figured, hey, how can I turn this into a positive? And then I decided to keep working on an initiative. And my senior year, instead of taking it easy throughout the year, I did another Christmas event, and I applied for the Challenge Program Award, and I wouldn't change any of it.
And here you are.
Yeah.
One of the things that stuck out is when we did that video with you. We always do video profiles on all of our big award recipients, and I this always sticks with me. It's one of my favorite things that a student maybe has ever said in a video. But you said if I had to go back and choose between not getting hurt or winning this award from the Challenge Program, you said you would choose winning this award from the Challenge Program every time. And I feel like that's really powerful thing to say. And I think it really made Dan, our founder, and Barb really proud that you would say something like that.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody that put so much effort into sports for so long, it was tough knowing hey, this road's almost over. But then it wasn't that road was over. It was more of I was just taking a detour,
Yeah, going down a different road.
Yeah, it helped me realize, I found the Challenge Program where it felt like that was the purpose,
Yeah.
I got injured, so I was able to put my energy and focus into something even greater. So now, I feel like it's really helped me, not just mentally and physically, but I feel like it's helped me to help others more.
Yeah. Yeah, and you didn't even lose your connection to sports. You still have debatably a stronger connection to sports now, having to overcome all of that than what you would have maybe just having a really easy senior sports year and no issues,
So that Challenge Program Award kind of came at a really pivotal time for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the timing, really even the timing of the event was fantastic, as the grind of the school year is ramping up, you have your finals and everything in April where you're not quite to that last few weeks of senior year. We had the event at the end of April where it was that last boost I needed to get myself through the rest of the school year.
Yeah.
And, in February, March, getting that award was awesome because I felt like coming out of the new year, I felt like I was kind of slow out the gate. I was thinking about college and I was starting to get stressed out, but then I was able to kind of get that positive energy back from the Challenge Program, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was so awesome. And we're happy that we could affect you so positively. That's one big thing with the Challenge Program. Talking to Barb and all of our founders and everything like that, they have such a deep passion for it. So it's always exciting to hear whenever we have such a good effect on some people.
Yeah, it was incredible. It's something that is definitely talked about at the dinner table at the Fetter house a lot.
Yeah, we love that. Oh my gosh.
Yes, that's very good. We love being part of people's lives in those ways. Well, I think that will do it for this interview. We're so appreciative for you coming out, and we're so excited to share your story and hear more about it. I think it was very nice meeting you, and it was super exciting to interview you as well. Do you have any last comments or concerns, Mal?
No, yeah, just, thanks for, being willing to share your story. It's not always an easy thing to do, to share your struggles, but I think you have valuable advice for a lot of young people out there, and maybe even some older people who listen to this, because getting older doesn't always mean, you don't face struggles anymore. Everybody kind of does. So, yeah, thanks for sharing, and it was nice to see you again. Come back and visit anytime.
I always enjoy the opportunities you guys give me. It's a great way to share my story, and it makes me feel better that I'm able to to help other people, and you guys are a great way to, help me do that. So you guys really bring out the best in me. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's so good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll return back to future Mel and Bryce in the studio. We'll see you back at home base. And we're back. That was a very fun interview. I enjoyed Bobby. He was pretty fun. Mel, what was some of your highlights? I liked hearing about the new name for his organization. It was really fun. He seems to still want to be really involved with all of that, which is really awesome, I think.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think that he's kind of like passing it on now that he's graduated. He's still going to be a part of it, obviously, but has some more people involved than just him.
Yeah.
Even though he started it, and I think it's just going to continue to grow, which is a really cool thing for him.
I give him a lot of points for that, too. I could never... it's a lot to do something like that, especially if it's volunteered and unpaid and everything like that, and while you're in college, so you're super busy. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot for sure.
But I'm happy that he's still being really involved in it and still very passionate about it, which is really awesome to see.
Yep.
So that was a great interview. It was really interesting. I'm happy that he's got himself on a strong path at Penn State, which will be really fun.
He does, yeah. It seems to be going well so far for him. He's all moved in and everything, I think I saw. And yeah, hopefully he comes back to Crystal Owl and things like that and visits us
really
and lets us know how it's going.
Yes. Yeah, I really hope that he comes to our Crystal Owl. That would be awesome. Hopefully he's not too crazy busy with anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a great interview. Really enjoyed that. We did want to give a quick shout out to Erin Hutton, who has her 1 year work anniversary that happened not too long ago. Obviously, since these podcasts are monthly, a few work anniversaries will pass by every once in a while on a podcast. So we had her 1 year work anniversary, which was really exciting. We did that on LinkedIn and everything like that. And she was super excited. She said she knew it was coming up, but she was like, she kind of forgot about it, but then remembered it. So whenever I emailed her about it, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited!"
Yeah.
And of course, you have Barb Grandinetti's 19th work anniversary. Our president. She was very excited as well. We did like a whole article for her, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And she was really excited as well.
Mm-hmm. She was just named one of the top CEOs.
Yes. Yeah, she got one of the top CEOs in, was it Pennsylvania? Yeah, she was listed one of the top CEOs in Pennsylvania, which is really awesome, which is exciting for her as well. So great celebration for her 19th year here. And hopefully next year, the big 20th year here will be even more exhilarating.
Yeah, we'll have to have a party.
Yes, absolutely. So that was really awesome. Those were our 2 work anniversaries. Those were our 2 big events for this month. So that was really fun. Obviously, this part of the ending podcast is recorded a little bit farther away than the interview. So we also finally did our first school, which went really well. It was really exciting. We had all of our new development managers there, so that was really awesome. That went really well. Me and Mel were there as well, and we really enjoyed that. And yeah, so it was a great week for TCP.
Yeah, 139 more to go.
Yes, 139 or more. Sometimes some more schools and businesses sneak in too, so that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was really fun. Really great interview with Bobby. I was really happy about that. I hope everybody really enjoyed the interview with him. He was great. I think there was a lot that you could learn from that interview because he had a lot of really amazing insights from actually setting up that organization to working on it to even giving us little snippets into him maybe wanting to make it a nonprofit or something else like that eventually, which would be really exciting. And that's really fun because, he said that some parts of it definitely got like driven and inspired from TCP. So if it ever ends up as a nonprofit, it'll be really cute.
Yeah, for sure. And our commitment to community service competition will open again in January. We typically do it the week of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, in honor of, community service. And so definitely enter if you've done anything at all community service wise. That can get you up to $1,000, and that's where we found Bobby. So
yeah, and that's a really huge thing. Also, as we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, Student of the Year. Now, this is the future recording, so Student of the Year is now open.
Mhm.
So we're really excited about that. Definitely make sure to apply. We've already been getting some Student of the Year applications in, and they've all been unbelievable so far. They've all been really great. So we just want to see more great stuff from all of you. And we always want to remind you guys that you don't have to be a TCP winner to get the Student of the Year either. We
Yeah,
really
you don't need
encourage
an
everybody.
award or anything from that. There's no GPA requirements or extracurricular activities required. It's just tell us your story.
Yeah, we love to hear if you're in extracurriculars or if you've done this or done that or have good grades. But we really want to hear everybody's perspective from everybody. Anybody is available for the award. And we really just want to hear your story, how you got through school, how TCP inspired you. You know, it's
Yep.
just really about being an amazing person. You don't have to be the best student or the best, anything. But that's really exciting. So make sure to apply for that. We already have some applications coming through, and we want to see even more because the harder the choice is for us, the better, because we like to have lots of challenge there.
Mhm.
And I think that's it for this great episode. I think that Bobby interview was great. We're excited for Student of the Year. We're going to be seeing some of you in your schools very soon.
Yeah, so we're excited to see all the students again. That's the best part of our jobs.
Yeah, I've already got to see some. Our first school was Johnstown, and so we saw some good Johnstown students already, and we're going to see a lot more here soon. So we're excited to see you all. We hope you enjoyed the interview. And as always, we hope you enjoyed the podcast. It was kind of fun, me and Mel doing the interview this time. Every once in a while that'll happen. But there we go. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to rate the podcast on every platform that you listen. Make sure to visit all of our other amazing social medias, including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for any of you young business professionals out there. And we'll see you next podcast. Bye.